In this video we take a tour of the Algarve in a vintage Land Rover, starting by the coast near Portimao and finishing here on the top of Monchique in the clouds. Our trip today started in Alvor. We drove through the centre into the marina, and on our way we learned about the different sizes of the houses. So if you're a captain of a boat, you would have a house with a door in the middle and a window on either side. And if you weren't a captain and you're just a crewmate, you would have a smaller house that had a door and then only a window on one side. It wouldn't be a big enough house to have had two. When we got to the marina, we saw two different types of boat. There was an older boat that was a small boat that would be rowed down the estuary and out to sea to fish. And then we saw a larger boat. And on the larger boat, it just so happened to be the same boat that we did the boat trip with to Ghana a couple of days ago. So check out our previous video linked below for more on that boat. After this, we went to the Lifeboat Museum and learnt about the unsinkable ship. Can you remember, Elias, why it was unsinkable?
Because it had cork and its shape.
It was shaped like a
Viking longboat.
And where did it have the cork?
In its sides.
Yep, it had it in its sides and under the benches. We also learned about the ladies that used to
cut the scales off the fish and get all their guts out.
Yeah. And what did they do to help their husbands who were the fishermen?
They untangled the fishing lines and put all the thousands of hooks hooked from one to who knows what onto a box.
Yeah.
And they also prayed for their return, and also give offerings to mermaids so they wouldn't keep the sails out for sea forever.
Yeah. It was quite an interesting little museum, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Would you like to have the job of sorting thousands of hooks for your husband?
Nope.
No. I don't think I would like that job either. Clara did have one thing that she found really interesting in there as well, didn't you?
Yeah, the woman also knitted the men's socks, and I might be able to do that soon because I can knit.
So from Alvor, we started heading along the coast to Portimao. And from here, we saw Praia de Rocha, which means the rock beach. And in the 1960s, there was an earthquake that made all the rocks disappear. They got shook underneath the sand, and this caused the beach to get washed away. So now that's a man-made beach. And what did we see whilst we were there?
Storks.
We did. We saw storks.
And they nested on top of chimneys and sometimes trees, and sometimes on top of other nests.
It's quite cool seeing the birds because there was absolutely hundreds of nests everywhere, wasn't there?
Yes.
Even on top of like signs for shops.
Yes, there were.
And from the beach, we went to the fort. The fort is one of 48 forts that's dotted along the coast to protect the region from Moorish and Spanish invaders. Can you remember the interesting fact about the fort and its links to the castle opposite? No? They had a chain that linked from one to the other that would break any boats that tried to sail up the river. Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We then continued up the coast to the next fishing village along, which is called Ferraguido. Here they had fish factories, and what that meant is because they had a constant sale of their fish to the companies that were canning them, was that a lot of their houses were able to have a lot of the luxuries like bathrooms and kitchens a lot more easily accessible than in Alvor where we started. So from this fishing village we started heading inland. We went through a vineyard near Silves, and this vineyard was a Venetian style vineyard. Can you remember what made the Venetian vineyard different to a normal vineyard?
These pots that they'd get men to walk on to squash the grapes.
Yeah, so they still stomp the grapes by feet, and then to ferment the grapes, instead of using big stainless steel distilleries like what we saw in our previous video in the vineyard, they ferment the grapes still in traditional pots, which gives it distinctive characteristics.
And they also have a type of grape that there's nowhere else in the world.
Yep, it was a special Algarvian type of grape.
Yeah.
From there, on our way to Silves, we passed some orange farms. Can you remember what was special about the orange farms?
The orange farms had spiky lemon trees to protect the oranges from being stolen. And also, if you take an orange and bring it to your car, and then that would be a theft. But if it took an orange and ate it underneath the tree, that wouldn't be a theft.
From the orange farms, we continued on to the castle in Silves. So we continued on to the castle in Silves. And I think Elias really liked this bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to say why?
I get to see weapons of war.
So what weapons did they have?
They had a catapult. They had other stuff.
They had a catapult, they had a quick firing crossbow, and they had battering rams, all in miniature displays so you could see them. And we learned about the design of the gatehouse, didn't we?
Yeah. It was made where it could put oil from the top, made it so it's hard to get in through the doors, and made it so they can shoot arrows into the chamber. It's shaped like an old bread oven to keep the heat in.
Yeah, so that was really interesting, wasn't it? Can you remember what was interesting about the shape of the castle from the outside?
Its towers are on the outside rather than the inside.
And why was that?
It meant that you could defend them from more sides.
But this is typical of Arabian-style castles, so you only really see it in the south of Iberia, across the Algarve, in the very south of Spain. This isn't something that you see in northern Portugal, northern Spain, or northern Europe. We then went off-road. Did you enjoy going off-road?
Yes, it was fun.
What did you enjoy about it?
Speed. It was bumpy.
Did you enjoy going off-road?
Definitely. I really enjoyed it because it was really bumpy and it was very speedy.
Yeah. It was faster than I expected it to be with children in the car, but the driver said he held back specifically because you were there, didn't he? And he said he could do it a lot faster.
Yes.
Yeah. But we had to go slow in the second part of the off-road bit. Can you remember why?
It was a nature reserve.
And what special animal did he potentially have there?
Iberian lynx.
Yeah. And can you remember what an Iberian lynx is?
It's a type of cat, and also, in the castle, they had a special cat house where cats go in so they could give them needles so that they don't have any more kittens, because the cats have to have food in the city, but if they ran out of food, then they would have to prey on what the Liberian Sphinx has, so then it would start competing for food.
Two things were really cute there. One, that you called it a Liberian Sphinx instead of Iberian lynx. And two is the fact that you think it's just a needle to help them stop having kittens. So this put us on Monchique, and as we started climbing towards our dinner point, we stopped off at the side of the road to have a look at some berries. Now, these berries are used to make a local liquor, which can be up to triple distilled and can reach as high as 57%. From here, we tasted the berries. What did you think of them?
I think the first one was like kind of sweet, kind of sour, and then the second one, which was the more red one, was very sweet.
You only tasted the second one, didn't you?
Yes.
What did you think?
It was sweet.
Yeah. I only tasted the first one, and I wasn't overly keen on the texture. It was a little bit like a lychee on the outside, but you bit into it instead of peeling it. So when we stopped for dinner, we tried some local dishes. We had some local breads, some sheep's cheese, some black pudding, olives as a starter, and then we had pork with sort of like spicy potatoes, rice and salad for mains. It was very big portions. It was absolutely delicious. And then after that, the children had some ice cream and Daddy had some espresso and some of the local liquors. Yeah, better than Penny. So the spirit I've just tried here is Madroño, and it's made out of the berries that we stopped at the side of the road to have a look at. This is a triple distilled spirit, and every time it's distilled it gets stronger, and it can reach up to about 57%. The version that we've just tried there was 51%, but unlike some of the other spirits that we tried through the course of the year, it's been a lot smoother, so it wasn't as harsh as the rakia that we had in Montenegro or the fenny that we had in Goa. It was a lot more smooth, a lot more drinkable, and I could probably have sipped this as easily as I did it like a shot. It was rather nice. The first one that we had was some of this taken and sort of like watered down with like a syrup made with like water and cinnamon and things as well, and that was a little bit more like a sort of like honey liqueur or lychee liqueur that we've had in the past in other destinations, and that you could just sit and drink all night. It was described as a bit of a lady's drink, but to be honest, I quite liked it because I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. But yeah, both of them were delicious. I think the lady who ran the restaurant, when she served us, was very disappointed that when we tried the liquors we didn't pull a face. I think because of the strength of the alcohol she expected a reaction like but it was quite smooth. It was actually quite a tasty drink, especially compared to some of the rakias, the fennies and things that we tried through this year. This one was very drinkable, and I could have probably quite happily sit and sipped it. Never mind just necking it as a shot. So yeah, that was tasty. Did you enjoy your dinner?
Yes.
Did you enjoy your dinner?
Yes.
So this is the drink that we tried. It's called Medonho, and you can see on the bottle here is the berries that we tried at the side of the road. This isn't as strong as the one we tried in the restaurant. This one is 46%, and the one that we had in the restaurant is 51%. So this one isn't quite as strong. After lunch, we went to Devil's Gorge. This is a scenic viewpoint about an hour's hike away from where we'd had lunch. This is along boardwalks with lots of steps, and there is a suspension bridge. We didn't hike there, we drove. The road was very steep-sided, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and there's a lot of heights too.
Yeah, so it was quite high up, and there was quite a drop off. So if you are scared of heights, be sure not to go near the edge unless you are on the boardwalk bit with a barrier. But it was very pretty though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very pretty.
Yeah. I think it's a kind of hike that would be brilliant to do in spring or autumn, but in the height of summer it might be a little bit too hot to do. But the scenery there was absolutely spectacular. After this, we continued to head up Monchique Mountain, and there we saw that a lot of the trees were starting to have numbers on them. Why did the trees have numbers?
So the trees were planted and they were allowed to mature for 25 years. Then after this, they could be harvested after every 9 years. And when they were harvested, the outer bark would be removed to make cork. And then the number would then be painted on so they know when it was last harvested. And the number represents the last digit of the year.
When we got to the top of Monchique, we were completely in the cloud. We had visibility of 5 meters. Yeah, something like that. It wasn't a lot of visibility, was there?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
We were reliably informed that there was a MotoGP circuit just below that we would be able to see from the top that is actually holding the Portugal MotoGP next week from when we're here, but we couldn't see it, could we?
No.
There was a souvenir shop where all the souvenirs were made in the region though, and the children were able to spend some pocket money. What did you get, Elias?
So I got a water football game thingy where you press these to launch water to move the ball into the other person's goal.
And Clara, what did you get?
I got an amethyst gemstone necklace, and it's 100% natural gemstone, and it was handmade in the shop, and it's a wish gemstone, And amethyst is for peace.
Now, Clara, would you like to take it out and try it on?
Yes, I would.
What do you think?
I think it's really pretty.
Whilst we're in the gift shop, we were hoping that some of the cloud would clear and we might get some views, but sadly that didn't happen. On our way back down Monchique, we drove past the local spring where you can fill up bottles of water, and we didn't jump out the car to do that because someone was filling big gallon drums of water, which looked like it was going to take forever. We did stop and have a look, but we didn't actually get to try it, did we?
Yeah.
I did see another one, but there's only one bottle there.
Yeah. But I think it was raining quite a lot at that point anyway, so I think we were quite relieved to stay in the car.
Yes.
Yeah. And then our last stop of the day was to a local patisserie where we all tried local cakes. Elias got...
A chocolate cake.
And was it tasty?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the tastiest out of all of them.
I got a almond biscuit thing. It looked quite meringueish from the outside, but then it was like crumbly cake inside. It was quite interesting. And Clara got...
I got another chocolatey cake, but then I swapped with Mum because Mum had like an eggy thing.
So the cake Clara got was a chocolate cake, but it was a local delicacy cake where it's made with corn flour instead
rather than wheat flour.
Yeah. So it gives the cake a little bit of a different consistency, doesn't it? Yeah. And it's normally made for the Workers' Day in Portugal. And the egg cake that Clara swapped for was where the yolk of the egg is passed through a strainer and made in sort of like long stringy bits and then soaked in almond syrup. And I think that one tasted really nice. Yeah, I think that was probably my favourite of the ones that we had.
We did our tour with Frontera Tour and Trips, and we'll leave a link in the description below.
Thank you to our guide Antonia for giving us an informative and fun trip.
If you've enjoyed watching our video today, what should you do?
Like.
And if you'd like to see more of our travels, including further videos from the Algarve, you should
hit the subscribe button.
Thank you for watching.
And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye now.